Okay, so first of all, thank you for agreeing to be interviewed. If you could do me a favor and state your name for the camera so that we know who we're talking to.
I'm Margaret Glaze.
Okay. I wonder if you could begin by just talking about what your relationship is to First Presbyterian Church. How long have you been here? What are some of your memories of it? Why has it been important to you?
Well, I'm 46, and I was baptized in this church, and I am one of two families that are fifth generation in this church. So I've been going here my whole life with the exception of some time spent in college, and then when I first got married, we were members of other churches, and then when we moved back to Hickory, came here. And we were married here, all three children baptized here, and we're pretty regular church folks, so we come here often.
So fifth generation, that includes your kids, so that would be...
That's sixth generation.
They're the sixth generation, so
Right.
this goes all the way back to your great-great-grandparents. So I know this is not on the script, but I'm wondering if you can tell me what you heard from the older relatives as you were growing up about why they found First Presbyterian to be an important place.
Well, it's, the women came. The men did not come. So my great-grandmother, her husband did not come. And then my grandmother, whom I spent a lot of time with, as a child, coming here, my grandfather was a Methodist at First United Methodist Church, and he did not ever join here. So, but my parents both all went here. And so it was pretty special, and, they have memories of the church building, the facility, and how it changed. And my great-grandmother designed and donated the wood at the chancel.
Oh.
So, in the former sanctuary that we've remodeled, whatever it was, I don't know, like 10 years ago, I guess. And so when the church sold that, my husband said, "Oh my gosh, what are we doing?" But we bought that wood. So I have that pulpit in my basement. It's just stacked up in the basement. We have a big basement and a lot of space. So we have the chancel, wood, all that walnut my great-grandmother designed and donated. So, and some mirrors.
Was she still living when we renovated?
No.
Okay,
My
so
great-grandmother died in 1964, and my grandmother died in 2003. So,
So long history with the church. Did you ever hear any feedback from them on the changes that took place in the physical space? When we remodeled, when...
I think my grandmother was a bit surprised by the cross that is hanging, sort of suspended from that wire. That was a little bit shocking, I think. It was, I guess, a bit avant-garde, So
For a Presbyterian congregation,
yeah.
especially.
So, but they liked, this was a nice renovation, I think they thought.
So, what... you mentioned baptisms, marriages, but what experiences make this an important place for you specifically? We've talked about the past with the family, but...
I think this is a place where, at least for me to just be to use an Oprah word, to be my most authentic self and to be the most real person that I am, and to strip away all the barriers, to strip away all socioeconomic boundaries, and to praise God. So that's important to me, to come here often and be that person.
How would you say then that being your most authentic self, I actually like that term, and I'm glad you used it, because that's one of the ways that we are defining the sacred in the whole project. Is it's a place where you can be, and that's exactly the phrasing that we use, the authentic self. Has your authentic self changed as a result of this place?
Yes, I think so, because there's such trust here for me that I can really speak my mind and be who I really want to be here, with people that I love and respect, and that I feel love and respect me.
Good, thank you. I wonder if you talk about how your kids interact here. What you see, you have memories of growing up in the church, now they're getting to do it. How do they relate to First Presbyterian Church? How is it important in their lives?
Well, if we're ever feeling really lazy, they say, "We're not going to church." And I'm like, I just want to sleep in. No, you can't sleep in when you have children that expect to go to church on Sundays. So I remember being really loud, and when I was young, we didn't have things like church bags, and my mom and dad didn't prepare a little bag for me to say, well, you might be a little bit young, and the sermon might be a little, not foreign for you, but anyway, not able to understand it well at my young and tender age. So, that I just remember being really fidgety and really loud. But I think it's important for me I like to sit beside my husband, because we're the leaders of this little pack of Glazes. And I think that, they love being in church, and they love being in this sacred space, and they know what it is to us as a family. They know that this place is special and different. It's not just a kitchen down this hallway and facilities down this hallway and classrooms. I mean, they know it's sacred. They know what it is, and they honor that too. One of my children one time was having a really hard day, and I said, "No, we're not going to Wednesday night supper. I'll just pay for it, and we're not going." And she said, she stomped off and came back about 5 minutes later, restated her case. She wanted to go to church. And I said, "I'm so sorry. We cannot. I have the other two children. We cannot do this." And she stomped off, hysterically crying. 5 minutes later, she came back with a written thing that she wanted to say, and she said, "I feel the most comfortable in my skin at church, and I want to go to Wednesday night supper, and I don't care if you don't feel like it, but this is the place that I need to go." And with that, I thought, whatever it is that was going on is not important. We went to church.
Excellent. So I think my children feel the same way here, at least the one who's old enough to be able to have those kinds of thoughts.
And people tell me all the time, "Oh, your children are so well behaved," and I'm thinking, I think you have me mixed up with somebody else. But whatever, we're working on it.
So have they enjoyed the new service over here?
Yes.
Because that's one of the things that I'm interested in, thinking about how, this building is just a physical building, but it's also a worship space. It's also places have different things that they're for, and that space has been kind of transformed over the past couple of months. I'm just curious how your family has responded to that.
I like this fellowship hall because it changes with the setup. It changes with what's going on in there, but we like that contemporary service, and we're sort of bouncing back and forth between the two. My parents still go to the traditional service, and we like being with them too. So
it does present some interesting challenges, even as it's a good thing. But
I think it's kind of a win-win situation. You worship here, you worship there. All good.
Through the questions, we've covered a good bit of what I had hoped to talk about. Maybe you could talk about this a little bit, and I haven't really defined this term for you, and that's intentional. Would you consider this a sacred space, and if so, what does that mean to you?
I do consider it sacred, and even though it's just a bricks and mortar, it holds a lot of, I guess, sacred ideas for me. It's a tie to my past with that familial relationship. It's a tie to my husband, because we met in this church. I forgot to say that, but we met on Easter Sunday, in 1993. And my mother had met him before and had said, "Oh, he's so nice and he's so cute. There was this nice guy in church." And I was like, I'm not going to meet anybody that my mother thinks is cute or that goes to church. I mean, that was just like, you know, double whammy against this guy. And so, you know, anyway, he turned around during Pass the Peace and introduced himself. And I thought, well, you know, he's probably nice. You know, he had a nice face. And it's ended up all right for me. But, so I do consider it sacred, you know, with our family being so close here. And it's such an integral part of our life. And I think, you know, I'm going the past, present, and the future. You know, I think it will always be sacred. Even if, you know, this building ever moved or we ever moved our membership, which I couldn't fathom, but I don't know. You know, this place will always be sacred for me. It's, you know, it's a place that you want to honor, and you want to honor the past of and all that it is, the religious space that it is.
Cool. Anything else you want to add?
No, I'm, you know, when I was growing up in Lenoir-Rhyne, you know, there was not a lot of interaction with Lenoir-Rhyne. I think in the city, I think that has grown, and I like that, you know, part. I always embrace helping LR. I think it's a great asset for our town. I love it that they, you know, went to the, you know, whatever football championship, and, you know, it's such a source of pride. And I'm not so sure that, I guess Lenoir-Rhyne knows that, you know, there are those of us out here who are not LR alums who really respect all that it is and all that it offers our town and brings people in here. And then to have, you know, Lenoir-Rhyne, a faith-based school is important to those of us who are not alumni or who don't have any direct real association with the school. So, you know, that's important to me as a, you know, native Catawba County
Excellent.
girl. So.
Well, thank you very much. This has been fun. There's good stuff that you've got to say, so I appreciate you taking the time to do it.
You're welcome.